Greetings! This is the Solo Gamer, but you can call me Matt, and as you can see, I am in the Earth Defense Force. And no, this is not a choice. It is mandatory. We must protect the Earth. So welcome to EDF 6. If you're not familiar, the EDF series is a long-running, very, very well-known, and now surprisingly popular series of games in which the essential premise is it's like an old B horror movie from back in the day where aliens are invading the Earth and all that jazz, and they're basically just, trying to conquer the planet, kill all the humans, yada, yada, yada. It's not too terribly complicated. What makes EDF unique is that you play it from the perspective of a ground soldier, a trooper. You have 4 different classes, which is the Wing Diver, the Air Raider, the Fencer, and of course the Standard Ranger, which is just basically COD, man. It's just like dude with gun, dude with rocket launcher, dude with missile launcher, that kind of thing. Nothing too fancy, but he's sort of the baseline. Like anything else goes through him as a starting point. The Wing Diver is the high mobility, low armor. The Air Raider is a specialist, does demolitions, special attack, and vehicles. And the Fencer's the heavy armor. Basically, powered armor, Iron Man suit, lots of heavy weaponry, lots of heavy firepower, but not as fast or as agile. The armor is customizable, and as you can no doubt see, they did go back to the classic armor design. But that's actually notable because it depends on what mission you're in. Watch. If you're in the old missions, she's wearing much more sensible gear because they don't have all the high-end fancy equipment like they do in the old games, because the future got absolutely bushwhacked. Like, we win the war in the 5th game, but the world is still absolutely fucking wrecked in the 6th game. And then through some time travel shenanigans, you get sent back in time to fight that battle. So let's get to it. Demonstrate how this works. Hey, what? So you pick your mission, you pick your class, you pick your gear, and then the game drops you in and you get to work. Speak for yourself.
You know how to do it. They don't carry guns. I'll take care of any that get close. This weapon can take them down.
So yeah, it's a simple third-person shooter. What makes it stand out and what's made it popular over the years is the sheer absolute chaos that gets involved with it. Like it starts with the basics of you fighting bugs and aliens, a few different enemies, and then it escalates into ever-expanding madness. Like these new guys, these dudes with the orbs, they're literally just walking nukes. They just walk around and drop explosions.
Georgie, coming! We're grenadiers!
But yeah, this is the 6th entry in the series, and it's the mainline entry, not one of the side missions like Iron Rain or Insect Armageddon or any of that junk. And it's not one of the it's not the censored, restricted, limited version that used to come out on, say,
Aim to hit those.
and they used to come on the old days, like the Xbox 360 and what have you. This is the full deal. They don't bother restricting it or limiting it anymore. They go full tilt, which is why it usually takes about a year for the English version to come out. But as you can see, it's a lot about it's all about like lots of enemies, lots of explosions, lots of destruction, lots of chaos and anarchy and a massive amount of weaponry. Like, I think someone said this game has over 8,000 weapons between the 4 classes, and just the Ranger has like 5 different categories of weapons by itself, not including like specialty or unique weapons, which each class also gets their own collection of. You got rifles, shotguns, grenade launchers, missile launchers, and rocket launchers. Then you have specialty gear. And in this game, they did something unique. The grenades are no longer their own weapon class. They're now their own function specialty that can be swapped out with a variety of different equipment. So, like, you can actually have the grenades as a self-contained unit. They're no longer this specialty gear. You can just carry them with you and use them whenever you like, which makes the Ranger a lot more fun to play, because now it feels like a genuine like force, because he's able to do a lot more than just shoot bullets or rockets. Still the most basic soldier in the game, but now it feels like a lot more of a potential threat. It doesn't change the fact that it's definitely more fun to play like the Wing Diver, which I'll demonstrate that in my next vid. I'll demonstrate that by going back to one of the old missions and playing as the Wing Diver for you so you can see it for yourself. But the whole thing with this is that this is all about the spectacle and the chaos and the destruction. It's multiplayer compatible, and it runs very well because it's very simplistic. Like, no one would ever accuse the EDF series of being super high-end graphically. Now, it's not bad, don't get me wrong. Like, they do pretty good with the basic systems they're running, but they're not running anything designed to be super fancy or super special. They're just running the most simple baseline platform they've got their hands on. And for the purposes of this game, it works. Like, you don't need anything more than this. Now, that being said, they do have some notable, and I do say this with all, sincerity, there's some notable, like, major spectacle in the game. Because there are battles with giant battleships, huge flying saucers, giant combat walkers, super-powered battle fortresses. The game makes zero. The game takes zero, fucks about just how extensive it's going to be. It's like, nah, we're going all in, and we don't care.
Giant grenadiers carry giant grenades, but do not get close. Attack them from afar.
Damn. If only we could get
But yeah, the big storyline of this is that it starts out in the future, and I'll show you that in a moment, where like humanity has basically been trying to rebuild after the last game devastated the entire planet. And I mean devastated. They're saying like 90% of the population dead, gone. So they're trying to rebuild, and the survivors of the alien forces, mostly just some monsters and a handful of alien troopers,
Why are there new ships gathering in that location?
are still around, still fighting.
Their new ships can travel more than 10 kilometers an instant. They must have predetermined.
But they're
waypoints
basically
to
like
keep their
humanity's
fleet
trying to
attached.
rebuild, and we're basically doing mop-up duty.
Rendezvous points set up. I imagine speed becoming a problem.
But yeah, the enemy had. But then about midway through the future segment where everything's ruins, you run into this new alien spaceship that after you beat it, it literally the explosion teleports you back in time to a mission in the 5th game. And what that allows them to do is they can keep going back and forth between these two different worlds with ever escalating chaos. Now, I played the Japanese version because I do understand enough about the language to play and navigate the menus and everything, even if I did have some trouble identifying some of the weapons from time to time. But I was mostly just practicing to get in for the actual release when it hit. And I'll be fair, I absolutely love this series. Have for over a decade. But yeah, my biggest complaint about the early versions was they were truncated baby bitch ass versions of what were, I found out later, much larger, more complex games. Oh, we got them the big boomer. That's okay. I got them some boomer too. And if I'd known these assholes were going to join the fray, I'd have brought my minion buster. It's perfect for taking care of these assholes. That's okay. The Raven will have to do for now. Here, by all means, eat my bullets. Eat them. But yeah, you have a variety of weapons. Like right now, I've got the machine gun, the Raven, which is low power, fast speed, high bullet count. I've got the MLRA, which is a multi launcher for rockets, well, tracking rockets, homing missiles. And then I've got the Firecracker, which is basically just hi. Lots of little grenades that you can throw out in rapid succession. Very, very fun, very quick. And then I'm wearing special gear that lets me suck up items and health and all that much more quickly. But like each loadout, each mission might require a different loadout. Each loadout might require different planning. Each loadout might require different setups. So I'm always reconsidering my situation. Had to restart a mission because I literally had nothing that could hit a certain target. But yeah, these guys are a pain, but they're also vulnerable to their own explosions, so just... Alright, you want to carry a nuke? I will shoot the nuke. Excuse me. Sore throat problems. We won this battle. Now, I don't know if you've been hearing the background chatter. It's pretty generic. No one's ever going to accuse the EDF series of having top-tier voice work. That's not what it's known for.
We are soldiers, brave and strong. Our muscles will protect you all.
See what I mean? Not winning awards for that shit, I promise you. As you can see, I've now acquired new weapons from the green boxes I picked up and increased my armor. You'll notice that it's universal. I increase armor for every category and I get weapons for every category. So you don't have to grind as much as you used to in the old games where you had to play with each class. For example, Wing Diver, I can now go in and pick up a couple of different weapons. I don't have a whole lot of them, but I have enough that I can do some decent work with it. And then I have a luminous shield. I can do different kinds of stuff. I can do guide grenades, diffusers. And then my core, and then you can also change the armor, but watch this. If I go back to the original levels, it automatically changes the armor for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a early mission so you can see what's going on. But this is basically how the game starts. With everybody sort of like working from these underground bunkers.
Let's go!
Drive out the invader.
But now, as you can see, the wing diver's big thing is she's immobile.
Shoot it.
She can move, she can fly, she can jump.
The aliens are just trying to survive on Earth. We really need to fight.
I wanted to let them live on Earth too.
The biggest issue
Think the same thing.
is that her weaponry draws from the same power as her backpack. So if you're using her weaponry, you have to use the energy that you would use for mobility. So it's a sort of trade-off. She's also much more fragile than any other character. And depending upon what weapon she's equipped with, she's also doesn't do as much damage than say a ranger. The difference being is that depending upon the weapon she's got, some of her weapons are absolutely dismantling. Like the rapier will cut through anything it hits, but it comes with a cost because it's short range.
Yes.
Whereas the grit shot has range, and actually a lot of it, but it's not doing as much damage because it scatters the fire all over the place. So the cost is you're trading mobility for power, power for firepower, power, and then you have to wait again, and that's the balance. Like reloading the rapier takes a chunk of your energy, and then I can just fly in and shred the big kibble.
It isn't like training. I think you're right.
But then once the fighting's over, you regenerate your ammo and supplies automatically. She's sort of the, what's the term here? She's kind of the, she's kind of like the high-speed glass cannon. That's the term. Super fast, super agile, a lot of ton of damage.
Expect us to get along with
Damage if you have the right gear, but she'll get massacred in a straight-up fight. Her biggest advantage is her mobility. She can move fast and cover ground really quick.
The space rocket came from already.
She also can get more altitude than any other character in the game, of course.
humans are in the
So she can get high visuals, can scout. Kind of a really good sort of,
Ourselves and exhausting each other.
kind of a really good long range sort of hit and runner.
I can't believe it's come to this.
Doesn't have any sniper weaponry at the moment, but as you can see, the weapons I'm carrying have their limitations, and I haven't unlocked a lot of weapons for her because you only unlock the weapons for your primary class, which at the moment was Ranger. But I can still shred. Just gotta make sure that I don't run out of ammo or jetpack juice. Because watch, let's say I go full power and just fly as much as I'm able to. If I run out of juice,
What? We'll be there right
I can't fly, my weapons can't recharge, and I have to wait for the system to cool down. So it's the old saying is like you have to manage your resources and pick your battles. On the plus side, when it comes to the ants and the insects, the wing divers are arguably the best class in the game. Because almost all their weapons cover a wide area and can just shred lightly armored targets near instantly. Watch. The difficult thing about the wing divers is that you have to constantly be watching your ammo and energy supplies, because if you run out of either, you are fucked. You don't have enough armor to survive the damage, and if you get caught, by a group of these things, they will just rip you to pieces. That's why the mobility is so important. I can fly in, dump a ton of damage on a target, and then retreat. And there's certain weapons that definitely work better for that tactic than others. The rapier is great for quick, fast hit and runs because it kills targets so quick. But the downside of that is the rapier requires a chunk out of your energy every time it reloads, and it uses ammo immensely quickly. So, dead.
Damn it. The extermination team slacking again? I bet it's those guys from out east. How many times have they done this now? Seriously, they have plenty of good equipment. They should be doing more.
Maybe the monsters are multiplying faster than the extermination teams can take them out.
Monsters! There are more of them!
But yeah, the basic premise of the game is pretty straightforward. It's save the world, fight for humanity, blah, 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 blah. I mean, if you're here for the story, you're barking up the wrong fucking tree. This game ain't about complex story. This isn't God of War, Ragnarok, or any of that shit. No, it's just like, welcome to the battleground. Here's your enemies. Kill them all. Survive. It's simple. It's honest. It's straightforward, and I goddamn love it for it.
This is our job.
This sucks.
Now, the last thing I want to do
Exterminating monsters is our primary objective.
is I want to use the specialty equipment. Now, what's interesting is this. Every character's controls are slightly different. For example, because of the limited weaponry and equipment, she only has so many buttons. The Ranger actually has way more.
Exterminate the monsters before we lose any citizens.
Let's see, there's her super weapon. Essentially, what it does is it covers an area in firepower, which makes it great for clusters of enemies. Not quite so good for long-range combat, but if you know how to set up a kill zone, it can be exceedingly effective. And there's certain missions where a diffuser can turn the tide almost instantly if you know how to use it. But like I said, every character is unique. Every class has its niche, its role. The Ranger may be the most generic, but he's also the most versatile with the most versatile loadout. But see, now I just ran out of ammo. And while I'm recharging, I am completely exposed. Got lucky that they weren't able to swarm me because I was out of position. But, as you can see, the rapier tears through them like they're made of tinfoil or cheese or wax paper. It just rips them to bits. Against certain enemies, it is worthless. Like, the rapier is not good against any enemy with ranged firepower. And there's other weapons that are much better for that job. But against these things, since they tend to swarm you, the rapier is absolutely perfect. And I'll show you the other two in my next video. Because I have to build their setups real quick. But yeah, like the best thing about these games has always been the fact that it's you versus like the swarm, the horde, the enemy army, and you have to try and survive against absolutely insane odds. It's kind of like Helldivers in a way, with the difference being that Helldivers is a much more focused game. It has a very, 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 and I'm being complimentary here. It's a very, very focused structure. It's designed to have you repeating missions constantly, so that you're doing the same thing and accomplishing goals and finishing missions and contributing as a whole. But the thing that is unique about it is that it has like different worlds, different biomes. It's a galactic world. This is just Earth. And to its credit, that's what gives Helldivers its unique properties. Now watch, here's the diffuser. It's now in perfect position, and while they're swarming me, it's blasting the whole area to death. Just shredding. And I can just sit here on the ground while it keeps them occupied, and just sweep my rapier back and forth, and catch all the bodies. Like, literally just drowning in bug bits. And yes, the insects are one of the standard enemy types. There's flying hornets and spiders, roly-polies, and a couple of variants of each. There were, in fact, in some of the other games, there were, in fact, centipedes too, but I haven't seen them come back since, I think, the second or third game. I forget which game it was. One of them had, like, centipedes in it, and they were an absolute pain in the ass to kill. But see, look at that. Between the diffuser and the rapier, I basically turned that entire swarm into kibble. Bits, pieces, everywhere. Like I said, for certain missions, like the Wing Diver's absolute perfection. For other missions, she's not really ideal. But the thing is, you can play the games with any... You can play the games with any combination or design for the characters. And almost all of them are viable. There's just some exceptions where you'll need like a long-range weapon to get the job done. But
Look, what a peaceful city.
boom, boom.
A perfect place to live.
Oh yeah, except for the fact that it's entirely in ruins and completely dismantled. Like the gung-ho sergeant you work under is such a ass. Like, dude, we're fighting over the rubble. This is the Arizona iced tea planet. No, fuck you. But now, as you can see, because I'm playing the Air Raider, I get way more weaponry from it. And the Air Raider and the Wing Diver now gets a massive boost to their armor. So whoever you play as is the primary, but you still get gear and weaponry for other characters. So next, I'll show you a different. When I come back, I'll show you a different combination of different classes. But for now, I'm going to cut it here, and we will go ahead and continue this next time with the Air Raider, one of my personal favorites, and then the Fencer, the heavy armor bad boy. And this is the Solo Gamer. I will see you next time.